Okay, the update is I have started a new digital marketing agency, that too in 2025. Some of you might know I already was partner in two agencies, but this is completely a new agency with new direction. A lot of people have been telling me, Obvious, you know so much about this industry. You have been in agency business for like almost a decade now. You know it's dead. The old agency model is dead. Why would you start an agency in 2025? To be honest, if somebody would have told me the same thing like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they probably would be right. But the thing I have realized is AI didn't just kill the old agency model, but at the same time, there was a blessing in disguise. It just paved a road for a new agency model to emerge. And there definitely is a huge opportunity, and that's why I'm stepping in. That's why I'm starting now. Now, let's be honest. The old agency model was huge retainers, means good business, bloated teams, and yet clients used to always complain that they're not getting value. A digital marketer in an old agency was simply a media buyer. In the whole journey of doing digital marketing and online advertising, digital marketer just used to take care of a small spectrum in between, which is media buying. The creative, the strategy used to come from some other person or team, and then the business impact was calculated by someone else. The media buyer would just do this chunk in between, buy media as per the strategy. And I have been a part of big agencies, some of the biggest in the world, small ones. And what I have realized is in the old agency model, let's say 2 years ago, the client would basically judge your performance based on how much attention they think they are getting. And that used to be the only metric for big clients to judge you as an agency. And on the other hand, the people working for agencies, a synonym for working agencies would be high pressure, no work-life balance. And across the industry, all agencies were kind of clones, like the same presentation deck, the same pitch deck, the same business portfolio, and the same fake promises. Everything. If you sit across any agency pitch, they would all exactly feel the same. And there were so many teams involved. The spectrum of digital marketing was divided in so many teams. To give you an example, I used to work with a client, and at that time it was one of the most efficient things to do. So we used to kind of have this gate system. What it means is basically the creative agency, the media buying agency, the business, the data analysis team, and the client, they all will sit in a meeting. The client would give a brief based on the new campaign or way forward for next 3 months, and that would be gate one. When this gate is passed, then the creative agency will go, they will come up with the creative independently. And then we will have a gate 2, which is like, okay, all sit together and then we approve the creative agency, whatever they do. And then after that, once that is passed, the creative is finalized, then the media buying agency would go and create a plan. Then regroup again, gate 3 or gate 4, approve the plan, and then we will go live. So everybody used to do work in silos, and the next team would have to accommodate their strategy based on what is coming their way from the previous 2 gates. This was so common in different shapes and forms, but across all big clients. But with AI, and when I say AI, it's not just AI tools like ChatGPT or Midjourney, or which help you do like the chunks of digital marketing work. I'm talking about the platforms integrated AI in them. We no more do manual CPC, we no more do all those things. So that was like the second step, which is the emergence of AI. The campaigns became automated, the creative testing became automated, everything, the algorithms became automated, bidding strategies, keyword selection, ad copy selection, everything started slowly becoming automated, which is AI driven. And then we had the new AI tools, which basically do a copywriter's work done quickly. A creative, like before, I remember we used to charge $100 for one adaptation to a client, and it would take such resources. Like for example, to create an HTML5 banner, the guy would sit for 2 hours and then adapt the HTML5 banner. After that, we started seeing tools like Canva, where there were templates to play around with, beautiful templates, and an end user could go and create different kind of creatives. And even if a professional who was doing it on all Photoshop, now with Canva he could do 5x more work. And then they became so powerful. Now the performance marketer could think of, okay, let me do the creative part myself as well, because I know what I need, I know what will work for this campaign. So with AI, what it brought a very big transformation across mid-sized agencies and boutique agencies more than the big ones before. But it brought a transformation how teams and clients collaborated, worked, and who did what. I started seeing a few years ago performance marketers who would basically do the copywriting on the landing page, who would basically create the actual creative that goes live on a display campaign, who would write copy for their ads, who would write copy for email marketing, because now the scope broadened, because performance marketers had less things to do now. They didn't have to go through hundreds of keywords to see, manually adjust the bids, manual CPC for each keyword. They didn't have to do all of that. Okay, a mobile campaign would get this budget and desktop campaign will get this budget. All of that was merged. The campaign structure started to merge. There was one campaign before, which 7 years ago, we used to have like 7 campaigns, one mobile, one for desktop, one campaign for this, one campaign for that audience, then ad groups. It all merged. Those 7 campaigns will be one campaign today, and it will even outperform that structure many folds. So this kind of led us to where we are like a year or 2 years ago, because with AI tools, now clients don't want attention and the team structure and the organization. All they want is speed, agility, and how we can react to the changing trends. And they want to speak to one person in the agency. Not like before, there used to be a business director, head of performance, then there used to be a media planning director, then there used to be someone from the creative agency. Now they just want to speak to one person. He defines the strategy, he talks to different guys inside, and he knows in and out, because the scope is shrinking. That's what they want. They want full stack marketers. Everybody in the team, the client says, everybody has to be full stack marketer. And to be honest with you, the only way to succeed as an agency today is to be super digital marketers, which means you need to do 50% of your work, if not more, using AI tools. So these AI tools, basically where we are standing now is, to be honest, a performance marketer has to have 4 things, I think. 1, they need to be full stack. They need to know everything. If not everything, they need to be very strong at something, let's say media buying, and then they need to have a good knowledge of creative strategy and business acumen. That is very, very important. They need to understand businesses. Gone are the days when you're a digital marketer working for a client and you didn't understand half of the things they do as a business, what matters for them, what are their KPIs, how do they generate business, what is LTV and all. That era is gone. I'm sorry. If you are stuck there, it will not work. That's one thing. The second thing is, every digital marketer needs to be very strong fundamentally in the fundamentals of marketing. You need to understand fundamentals of marketing. That is very, very important. Third thing, every digital marketer, you say, I'm very strong at data analysis. No. Before data analysis, you need to be, because half of the data analysis and testing and all this done by platforms, you need to be very creative as well. You need to think, because now you have time to think, but you need to be very creative. That is very, very important as well. When I say I started my agency, what new do I bring to the table? I thought a lot about it. Agencies today, with all this shebang, like you need to have the business acumen to understand your client's business, you need to be creative, you need to be AI driven, you need to be efficient with AI tools. But with all of this, you need to understand one thing. The only way to work now is, the agency needs to work as an extended team of the client. They need to feel that you are their team. As much as their own employees know about their business, as close they are with the business, so do you as an agency. And logistically, how you can manage that in an agency is to create something called pod system, which this word I took from Google, because in Google you have like these pods, a bunch of people working together as a small team. So that is the only thing. Every agency, small and medium, needs to have like a pod system. Okay, you have a big client. have two designers there, one lead designer, one junior designer. You need to have one meta guy, meta ads guy, one responsible for Google ads guy, one account director who knows all of this, one account manager who knows all of this, and maybe copywriter and whatever you need for that client. You can have 3 each, 4, whatever, based on the budget of the client and whatever. So even a small client, you need to have, let's say, 50% of the designer's scope. You need to have of their, basically 50% they should be allocated to this particular client. And then meta guy, Google guy, it can be the same, or you say meta specialist, 50% he's allocated to you. So they are very close to the business. They understand all of that. They gather their knowledge. They work as their extended team and create this pod system. It can be a small pod or it can be a big pod. And that is the only way to go ahead. In terms of demand, to be honest with you, 5 years ago and now, the demand has, I don't know, it's exponentially high now. Few years ago, only businesses needed agencies or outsourcing their digital marketing. Now, small or big, even in tier 2, tier 3 cities across the world, you have businesses who are reliant on digital marketing. Whether it's clinics, whether it's salons or restaurants, anything, everybody is now dependent on digital marketers. The demand is exponential. But you need to be in a right, logistically, you need to manage the agency in such a way that it's useful for the client. To be honest with you, I have been in this industry for a very long time. I have analyzed a lot, and this is a very strong opportunity. That's why I started my own agency as an independent agency. And with this system in place, I see amazing results, to be honest with you. Now that I have implemented this system, what does it mean for you if you're looking to start an agency? To be honest with you, I'll say there are 3 things you need to understand. One is you need to be AI driven. All your team needs to be AI driven because it will make you super efficient. You need to have a lean system, which I talked about, the pod system. It's a very lean system, and this is very, very efficient as well. These are 2 things. The third thing I would say, now there is so much demand for digital agencies that you can have a super niche, be experts in there, and still do a lot of business, have a very huge agency. For example, now that I live in Dubai most of the time, so I would say, if you just pick a niche, let's say real estate agents in Dubai, an agency focused on that, small e-commerce shops in Dubai, business setup consultants in Dubai, or restaurants in Dubai, pick a niche, because then it will give you that superpower that when you have case studies, you go to new clients, and it will make you an agile agency. You have teams, you can swap the teams, you can create new pods, you can replicate it overnight and do those kind of things. What do you think if you have plans to start an agency, or if you are an agency owner, or if you work in an agency? What do you think about this? I mean, to be honest with you, this will be one of my new content pillars on the channel. We'll be talking a lot about case studies, what we are doing as an agency and things like that. But if you want to know something specifically, I'm more than happy to basically share that knowledge as an agency owner. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.